ask you all to stand. And Selectman McCartle, if you'd lead us in the pledge.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we have a few interesting things going on here today, and some special recognition up front. So, as a start, we do not have a Wednesday's pet, so Selectman Stenek, or former First Selectman Stenek, will not be joining us today. And that lets us move on to the minutes. The first item is to consider and act upon the minutes of the regular meeting of February 17th, 2016. May I have a motion to accept?
Make a motion.
A second?
I'll second that.
Any edits, changes, comments?
No.
All right. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That's done. All right. Item number 5. We have some very special recognition. Recognition of the town of Fairfield for being designated a heart-safe community by the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health. And I'm going to ask our fire chief, Denis McCarthy, to come up and explain a little bit of the background behind this.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing us to participate today and recognize the work that the town has done, our EMS partners, certainly the fire department, AMR, and the police department, as well as private citizens who contribute to the heart-safe environment for which we'll be recognized today. Fairfield Fire Department, along with those partners, respond to 4,700 calls, EMS calls every year. 20 of those involve external defibrillators. Automatic external defibrillators, or AEDs. And recently, at the same time as we are being recognized as a heart-safe community, there was an event at the YMCA that I think that is illustrative of the work that's been done to get us to this point in time. A patron of the Y was suffering a cardiac event. Sam Mouziyk, who's here today from the Y, along with Dr. Tilley, who was at the Y, intervened and began life-saving with the AED. The fire department showed up. Lieutenant Phil Higgins, firefighter Tim Ward, and firefighter D'Angelo responded and took over care. AMR participated, and it just so happened that firefighter Jerry McGuire was, a Fairfield firefighter, was working on the ambulance that day for AMR, and there was a successful conversion, and the patient was delivered to the hospital alive and well, and is in recovery right now. This really represents the entire community participating in pre-hospital emergency medical care, and we're very proud of our part and the work that our firefighters did that day, and in particular for firefighter Jerry McGuire, who has led the effort to bring this entire system together that brings us to receive the HeartSafe recognition. So I'd like to introduce Michele Connelly from the Department of Public Health, Office of Emergency Medical Service, who will explain a little bit further.
Hello, and thank you for having me today. First, I'm going to do my Vanna impression. So the town gets to hang 10 of these throughout the town to let the community know that they have worked very hard to get their designation, and also to generate more questions and more people wanting to know what's going on, what it involves, which furthers our goals. So I just want to show that first. I just, first want to congratulate everyone. It's been a lot of work. I've been talking to Jerry for a long time about this, to get this done. And you guys have become the 117th town in the state of Connecticut to become HeartSafe designated. Just to give you a little background, our program started in 2006, and it was a program that was partnered with American Heart Association in our state. We were one of the second state actually to start this. And it really is to get the community as a whole to come together to really increase our survival rates. every minute that goes by, the person's chance of survival decreases by 10%. So if the average ambulance takes 4 to 6 minutes to get there, they've only got a 40% chance of survival rate at that point. So bystanders, friends, family, coworkers, it's essential that they have the training to do CPR and the AEDs close by, because AEDs really increase the chances of survival, so that the citizens have a healthier, heart-safe community. So for today, I have a certificate to present to the town from the commissioner that designates that you are a heart-safe community, and I have a letter which I will read from the commissioner as well. It says, on behalf of the Connecticut Department of Health and the American Heart Association, congratulations to your community for having met the requirements of a designated heart-safe community. This 3-year designation recognizes your commitment to provide improved cardiac response and care to the residents of your community, utilizing the chain of survival of early 911 access, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, defibrillator, and advanced care. We commend you on your efforts to save lives and improve the health of your community. Sincerely, Dr. Pino, Acting Commissioner.
Wow, fantastic.
Right.
Thank you.
I would
Thank
like
you.
to present that
No, hang on.
to you. Leave it here?
Stay up there, no, you stay up there too, please.
Okay.
A couple things. One, I want to make a few comments. One, I think this is really a phenomenal award for the community. It hits me personally in many levels. One is that I'm a member of the Y, so it's great to know I'm safer than I thought I was. Second, I'm a former CPR instructor, so I really appreciate what that means. And I was a CPR instructor for the Red Cross, and one of their measures of community safety was how many people in that community were certified in CPR. And I worked with the local Kiwanis Club here to certify as many members as I could at that point. And lastly, we just held an AED class here in Town Hall,
Oh, great.
which did two things. One, we made sure our batteries were up to date in our AED machine, which I hear is a problem from time to time in other places, not here certainly. And second, it was great to go through with everybody, get both a refresher in CPR and learn how to use the latest AED equipment.
Great.
So I think that again, this fits both with our community's value sets and what's taken place, and I want to thank you for your efforts and what you're doing throughout the state, because it's 117 towns? did you say?
117 towns so far.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Chris, Laurie, do you want to
That's
add any
great.
comments?
No, I think that's fantastic, and I know the AED machines are important to have around as many locations as we can, but if they're on the wall and nobody knows how to use it, we're losing out on there. So I encourage everybody at home who's watching or here to go out, find a CPR class, reteach yourself how to do it if you haven't done it once a year. It's important. You never know when you're going to have the opportunity to save someone's life. So I haven't been retrained since my son was 2, so I'm due for a refresher on it.
It's time.
Yeah.
All right. And then, if we could get our picture taken up with you guys, come on up.
I'm not trying to be rude. Just don't want to get you sick. Do you want to grab the sign?
That's great. Thank you so much.
I'll give that to the guys with the other one. Okay, great. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, no, thank you. All right. And then, as would be appropriate in such, you heard Chief McCarthy's description of an incident at the YMCA here locally, and we had a couple of citizens involved, and in honor of them, we've got certificates for each of them. For Dr. Evan Tilley and for Sam Mouziyk. And I'm going to read one. They're both similar. It's a proclamation from the town of Fairfield, proudly thanking and appreciating the heroic efforts of Fairfield resident Dr. Evan Tilley and Sam Mouziyk, an employee at the Fairfield YMCA, for saving the life of a male who was not breathing at the time. And whereas Engine 1, which include crew members Lieutenant Phil Higgins and firefighters Tim Ward and Frank D'Angelo, quickly arrived on the scene and was met by staff while these two Good Samaritans were performing CPR and using an automated external defibrillator, or AED, which the YMCA keeps on site. And whereas Engine 1 took over patient care, and again, thanks to these two quick-thinking bystanders, the patient began to get a strong pulse. And whereas Engine 1's advanced training helped the patient breathe on his own, the wonderful assistance of AMR, including paramedic Jerry McGuire and EMT Andrew McCauley, also arrived on scene and took over patient care and aided in the patient's life being saved. Now, therefore, I, Michael C. Tetreau, First Selectman of the Town of Fairfield, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, March 2nd, 2016, as Dr. Evan Tilley Day and Sam Mouziyk Day throughout the town of Fairfield. Is Dr. Tilley and Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You can stand here. Get, great. Thank you.
Evan Tilley. Retired, Denis. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sam's actually my son's swim teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How cool. Yeah. When do you go?
What's that?
When does he go?
He goes twice a week now.
Now, we're not done. This is, I think, a major event for our community. It took a lot of people involved in doing this. And being recognized as a heart-safe community took some leadership by a number of people. And so we have a special proclamation here to honor one of the key leaders involved in that, since he oversees the EMS program and played a large part in the town receiving this award. Is firefighter Jerry McGuire here? You could please come up. We have a proclamation from the town to recognize you for your work and what you've done to make our town safer. The town of Fairfield is proud to receive the Heart Safe Award since it meets the requirements of a heart-safe community. And whereas this award is bestowed upon by the Connecticut Department of Public Health's Office of Emergency Medical Services, which sponsors the Heart Safe program. And whereas, with the designation, Fairfield will receive 10 Heart Safe community signs to put up around town, a certificate and a letter from the Department of Public Health Commissioner. This is a 3-year designation with renewal contingent upon continuing efforts to improve community cardiac care. And whereas the town of Fairfield has earned the Heart Safe Community designation in large part due to the efforts of firefighter Jerry McGuire, you were great in the movie, by the way, who oversees the town's EMS program. And whereas firefighter McGuire is a 15-year veteran of the Fairfield Fire Department, he gathered information required by Heart Safe to determine whether the town fulfilled the requirements for the Heart Safe designation. And whereas firefighter McGuire first researched the town's level of CPR training, the town's success is due to the high amount of participation in courses given by AMR and other organizations. And whereas firefighter McGuire also researched where the town's automatic external defibrillators, AEDs, are located, HeartSafe requires a percentage of AEDs based upon population, and the town has a good number of AEDs installed throughout the community. And whereas firefighter McGuire worked to gain HeartSafe designation acts to highlight the amount of good work performed by the people of Fairfield and sets a stellar example for other communities, and will also encourage others within the Fairfield community to learn CPR and AED, as Selectman Timniak encouraged, and encourage more facilities to install AEDs. Now, therefore, I, Michael C. Tetreau, First Selectman of the Town of Fairfield, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, March 2nd, 2016, as Firefighter Jerry McGuire Day. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job.
You just take a moment and tell us why this mattered, why'd you get involved?
It mattered to me. I grew up, my dad was a Connecticut State Trooper. He's since retired. I grew up in a volunteer system, volunteer fireman and volunteer ambulance corps. I'm a 25-year paramedic. So to see EMS move forward and to see it grow and flourish amongst the townspeople, with them being trained and them willing to learn and help, and it just, when the system works, it's great. You know, that's why we're here. So if we push that system forward and we keep training and we keep advancing our knowledge, it works better and better and better. And for me, you know, that makes it all worthwhile. It's makes, you know, coming to work a joy rather than, you know, just a job. So I love it.
Well, thank you very much from the entire town of Fairfield.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do you have anything else to say, Chief? You okay? All right, Chief, thank you very much. Thank you. Give everybody a chance to
Yeah,
get.
you sort of wish they
Yeah.
all hang out here, though. It's like state town business.
Yeah, keep pushing. All right, back to business. Next item is item 7, the Clean Energy Task Force. This is for information only, but Stephanie A. Weiner, a Democrat from 44 Concord Street, has a resignation date of February 3rd, 2016. Next up, item 8, appointments. This is also for information only. Conservation Commission, Milan Bowl, unaffiliated, 2325 Burr Street, for a term of 11/14 to 11/19 as an alternate. His appointment date is February 17th, 2016. Next up, to hear, consider, and act upon the following appointment to the Police Commission. Joseph Cafferlli, unaffiliated, 129 College Place, for a term of 11/15 to 11/20, and this is to fill a vacancy for Walter Flynn, whose term expired. May I have a motion to accept?
Make the motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any comments or discussion?
I'm excited to have Joe Cafferelli join the Police Commission. He has been an active member in the community since...
If I could just take a... Excuse me, could somebody ask to quiet down back, please? Or just close the door there? Sorry, I wanted your comments to come through.
Joe's been an active member of the community since before 1995. He's a member of the Fairfield Beach Association. I think he's going to add great contributions to the Police Commission. Look forward to having him serve.
Okay.
Yeah, just appreciate him stepping up to continue his service to the town. He's got a great business background. I think he'll bring a lot to the commission and be able to bring a lot, having lived at the beach for so long and been a member of the different beach associations down there. I think he will bring some value with our ever evolving situation at the beach.
Okay, very good. Any comments from the public? Ms. Herman, if you'd come up to the podium.
I would just like to also add that we are very grateful as a lifelong member of the Beach Association, or of Fairfield Beach, and president of the FBRA right now. We look forward to having a liaison with somebody who truly understands the problems at the beach, whether they be with residents or town issues or storms. Joe's lived there long enough to understand all those problems, and we are very happy that he's decided to serve.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? All right, then back to the board. I do need to explain that I've had a chance to talk to Mr. Cafferlli, and I'm very impressed with him as an individual, and I want to thank you for your service here. I have trouble supporting the vote for process reasons that I went into greater detail about at the last meeting, but just simply, I'd be happy to support you if it didn't mean the change in political balance on the police commission, which I think is a very important board. And I think that the process by which this took place, I have difficulty supporting. And I just want to say that's nothing about you personally, sir. That's fine. But I just have difficulty with that. So with that, are we ready to vote?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I think that is it. So that's it. All right, thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you for stepping up. All right, next up is a Clean Energy Task Force and to hear a report on the town's new residential solar program. Scott?
Hi, Scott Thompson, Chairman of the Clean Energy Task Force. Thanks for having me here this evening. Very excited to announce that Fairfield has applied for and been accepted into a new residential solar community program. So we're very excited about that. What it means is that we have a 4-month period here where we get support from Green Bank and their designee Smart Power. And we have a vendor, a new solar vendor that we've selected through a competitive process. And we'll be working with them to do outreach within the community to try to encourage our residents to consider solar for their homes and to, like the other 290 residents in Fairfield so far that have gone solar, to learn how easy it is and to save money. So our program will be launching on March 23rd, and we decided actually, here's a flyer for you all. I don't think it was in your
Thank you.
packet just
No.
yet. We decided to hold it in the beach area because after some of the research that our interns did last year, it seems like there's a really serious cluster of homes that would be good for solar in the beach area. Probably no surprise.
Probably because they're so tall.
They're tall and not a lot of overhanging trees, if you will, and good connection and orientation to the sun. So we'll be having our kickoff workshop March 23rd at Sherman Elementary. And Mr. Tetreau, I wanted to thank you. We've checked your calendar with Jennifer, and we appreciate that you're going to come out and kick us off at the meeting. So thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. We have over 200 installations at the moment?
290 and counting.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we're very pleased with the response we've gotten to the programs over the last 3 years, but we are really energized to try to take it to the next level. And one of the things we will do is we're going to actually enlist as many of those 290 residents that have already gone solar to reach out to their friends and family and neighbors in the community to try to bring more people. And really what we find is once they come to our workshops and once they learn about the process and the financial benefits, the rest is kind of easy. As long as your roof is in decent shape and you've got sun in your house, it kind of becomes an economic no-brainer.
And Scott, I've got to also compliment you. I mean, you have worked hours and hours and hours as a volunteer on helping our town, both solarized, but also you've been focused on clean energy in many respects, and I know you served on a building committee, and focused on getting Riverfield more green as part of the building process. So I want to thank you for your dedication, but also for your example to all of us in terms of how to put clean energy as part of our culture.
Well, I thank you for that, and you're welcome, and it's really rewarding to be able to work in a town where these type of initiatives and programs are supported. And so I want to thank your office and the board and really the whole town, Ed Bowman on down, for supporting what we're trying to do. And you know, we're reaching people and in little ways changing lives too. So that's really what gives it all meaning. So thank you.
Good. Any comments from the board?
Who is the new vendor who you chose?
The new vendor is called All Green It Solar.
All green.
So it's 3 words, All Green It Solar.
I'm getting close to doing that. I have a new roof renovation going on, and I think solar is going to be part of our plans moving forward. So maybe
All right.
this fall.
Maybe
I'll
we could be 291.
Yeah, maybe I'll be one of the ones to do it. And thank you for your service in doing this. It's one of those things which happens in the town, and people see it, and people like it, and they like talking about it, but we need to get more people actually involved and engaged and willing to not only just hear about it, but participate and actually put it on their roof so we can start moving us more towards green energy. And from what I've heard, it's a real nice kick in your utility bill.
Yep, and saving money at the same time.
Right. So.
All right, Laurie?
So, yeah, I think bringing in people that are already doing it's probably a really good way to, because people, you know, you read it in the brochure, but you want somebody that you can connect with to say, no, it's great, and it doesn't ruin your roof, or, you know, whatever, and that you're saving money, so I think that's good. So does it only go for 4 months, though? That was...
The community program is going to kick off March 23rd, and it's going to run until the end of July. And so what that program includes is, first, we get to work with Smart Power, who helps us with the community outreach, and we have other events. We have a library event on the 28th. We'll be also promoting it at the Earth Day event on the 30th, and there's a few other events as well. They also, you know, we have access to, of course, the state rebates and the federal tax credits, so there's the financial piece as well. But the program is limited because of the state resources to provide the outreach,
Okay.
but also to try to give people that nudge.
So it's sort of like a jump start to
make a
get people
decision.
going,
Yeah.
but obviously people can continue beyond the 4 months.
That's
That
right.
would be the goal.
People can always do the research of vendors and get pricing on their own, so the town is not obligating our community to do that.
Right.
We just make it simple. We've got a kind of pre-vetted vendor that they can work with. And of course, after the program, they can always get in as well, as you said. But we have, because of the way the program works, is that we get discounted rates from the vendor in exchange for basically our volunteer labor and town support. And
So you're
the-
helping promote them. So
we
you're-
help promote, we save them on marketing dollars.
Right.
We have volunteers, Mary and the whole task force included. That saves them money, so they're able to offer what amounts to typically about a 20% discount on standard rates.
That's great. Yeah, because electricity is through the roof, literally.
Any more discussion or questions?
No, not about this. I actually have a question for him, though, unrelated. Should I ask now? I was just wondering where we are, if we've heard anything further about getting the solar panels on the Tomlinson roof. We were looking at, seeing if there were other options on that.
Yeah, the only thing
Maybe an Ed Bowman question as
Oh,
opposed to
okay.
Scott, but
All right.
don't mean to cut you off. If you know anything, you're welcome to share.
what I've heard, and maybe there's more recent information, was there was not space on the property roof included to get up to the 250 kW level to basically be able to utilize the grant. So unfortunately, that grant that we had will have to, I think, go by the wayside, and we'll have to regroup for Tomlinson.
Yeah, I think that's consistent with what Mr. Bowman had explained to me also.
Okay. I just hadn't heard, so I've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
So, all right. It's too bad.
Scott, thank you.
Okay, thank you
Scott.
again.
All right, next up, from the Chief Fiscal Officer, here a status report on labor negotiations. Mr. Mayor.
Hello. As you all know, the police and fire Labor negotiations are concluded this winter. We have 4 union contracts that have expired: ECC, nurses, public works, and professional and technical. The only one in active discussions is ECC. The normal kind of issues, the health care, obviously benefits, salary. There's also some language issues there that are under discussion. With respect to the nurses, we've reached out to the nurses union, and our first meeting is scheduled for April 4th. With respect to the public works, we've been trying to start that. The attorney representing the DPW union was trying to have his, I guess handoff would be the right word, to one of his staff people, and that delayed things, but the union decided no, they want Craig to do it himself, so we're back on target with them, and we're, right now, Craig had it, maybe more than you need to know, he had some surgery, et cetera, et cetera. He's the...
A little bit too TMI, Bob.
Anyway, so they've asked us to wait till he returns to work, though. That's why that's important. Okay. Professional and technical, the union has provided us their negotiating team, and we're talking with them to develop a date. Ideally, we'll get finalize these 4 contracts by September, October, because then we need November, December to prep for the beginning in January for police and fire again.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
No, I appreciate coming in here. For those, this was discussed last night at the joint meeting on the Board of Finance and Board of Selectmen. So most of my questions were answered, and I thank you for coming again and having this on the agenda.
Welcome. Thank you for thanking me.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, as long as you're at the podium, next item up is to hear an update on department head searches for human resources, purchasing, and IT from the chief fiscal officer.
Yeah, this is all very, very near and dear to me. We have 3 key positions that are open: HR, purchasing, and IT. And I am taking the point on each of those 3 positions. So as the point person on HR, I'm doing my best to fill those 3 positions. With respect to purchasing and HR, we have redesigned the job descriptions, posted the positions, advertised positions, interviewed for the positions, have finalists, 2 or 3 to 4 finalists for each of the positions, have run some of the background checks, and are pretty close to negotiating offers. With respect to IT, we engaged Cohen and Wolf to help us with that, to get some IT technical support in the process. And we did the same thing. We redesigned the job description, updated that, posted it, advertised for it. We received a little over 200 resumes so far. They're still coming. A little more than half are from out of state. We're focusing mostly on the in-state resumes. We have narrowed those 200 resumes down to 20, and we start interviews next week. Yeah, next week. The other thing we did there, though, is that we didn't do for the other 2 positions. We took 20 town department heads and the sub-department heads and put together a survey to inquire and get input on what they felt we needed from an IT perspective, both from leadership, technical advice, counsel, etc. Those were due back to us Friday, and of the 20 people, I think about 15 have responded, and I need to send out a follow-up email to the other 5. And so we're moving, because it's part of our designing the profile of the candidate that we want to hire. The end.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
No.
Cool. Thank you all.
Bob, thank you very much. All right, next up, from the tax collector, do we have,
Yes.
we're okay? All right. To consider and act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount recommended. May I have a motion to accept?
Make a motion.
A second?
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion or amendments?
I'd like to make an amendment.
All right,
I'd like to remove the period after the end of the sentence and a comma followed by the amount of $3,420.55. Period.
is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion on the amendment? Are we all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. All right, item as amended is before us. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Next up, to hear, consider, and act upon any other business that shall properly come before this meeting. Anything? All right, moving on. Adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll do that.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.